What's going on, men of God? Just want to let you guys know this world needs you, and Jesus needs you. It's a reason why He chose you. It's a reason why you have the gift and the talent to speak, and people will listen. You have to understand there's a reason and a plan and a purpose. Why do you think God chose you? Why do you think this world comes to hear you speak when you preach? Take a look at this world, this dying world. And don't you dare tell me that there's not a purpose for you to be on this world. Same thing with the woman of God. This world needs you. People need you. You have to use your voice. The voice that God gave you is very influential. The passion God put in your heart is contagious. And this world is dying. This world is starving. This world is thirsty. And you have the bread of life to give them. You have the living water to give them. People are broken. You have the hope to give them. People are sad. You have the joy to give them. People don't know what to do. They're about to settle for less. Some of them right now want to kill themselves. Some of them right now got a gun to their head, a blade to their wrist, a needle in their vein. They don't know what to do. They're drinking, they're smoking, they're fist fighting. They don't know. And you have an answer for them. You have a king in heaven for them. There is a crown of royalty for every human being, for those who are willing to live for Jesus Christ. And Jesus is willing to live for you. He loves you, but are you willing to love Him back? He wants to give you a future and a hope, but are you willing to believe? You say, John, but I want to believe, but I need evidence. I can't see. There is an evidence. It's like water. You can't see water. It's clear. You can only see water if it has a surface to reflect off of. A glass, sun, a table, the ocean, right? The earth. I pray that you can see Christ off the reflection of me. When I speak and preach and teach, and when I give money to people, and I help people, and I try to inspire people everywhere I go in this world. If you men of God rise up, I promise you, everybody will have an impact. There's a reason why men are strong and men are mighty and men have no fear. It wasn't to fight other men. It wasn't to abuse women and children. It wasn't just to go to war and die for a country that doesn't care about its own people. It was for men to team up with Christ, find the kingdom mentality and identity, and take care of people who can't take care of themselves. Be there for people who don't know where to go. There's women, there's children who need a strong man to be there in leadership and guidance. If you would just tell your son that you love them and put a future in front of him, he wouldn't have to be a criminal and be in the streets trying to gangbang and lose his life. If you would just tell your daughter that you are loved and you are a queen and a princess and you can be adored by a man who would get on his knees and say, baby, marry me, then women wouldn't be out here strung out and broken. There is a reason why God chose the man and said, listen, I need you to be the head of the household. I need you to be her husband and their father. I need you to be the protector. I need you to be a teacher. I need you. And men have failed. Men of God, if you don't rise up and do more than what you're doing, go the extra mile. I know right now we're on this side and we think that going from here to here is enough. But there's the other side. And people over there are less fortunate than you. People over there don't have a clear sight of where to go in life, how to survive, how do I make it? The average American, no, I would say above average, people have been settling for less. They say, you know what? it's not meant to be for me. I'm just gonna settle right here. Whatever crumbs I have, I'm gonna make my life off it. Whatever paycheck to paycheck, I'm gonna make my life off it. Whatever abuse, I'm gonna make my life off it. And then you go on social media and you try to live your life based off the glamour you see other people post. Let me tell you, it's a domino effect. We either stand together or we fall together. One domino falls, we all fall. But if they all stand, they all stand. When you see somebody living better than you, it's never because they're better. It's because one man saw the poverty. One man saw the brokenness. And he dedicated his life to create generational wealth. There is generations behind being privileged. There's generations behind having inheritance. There is generations behind your life being possible to have what you have now. If you're born poor, like my family was, there's generations behind it for you to be poor. And the children suffer. The little girl doesn't know why. And she grows up as a grown woman, she still don't know why. The little boy doesn't know why. He grows up, he becomes a man, and he still doesn't know why. And then you settle for less and say, well, this is just how life is. And you make a terrible life your home. Men of God, step up, because this world needs you. I was at the table, right? I was talking to my server. I was telling her how my dad is fighting, death every day, and he's on life support. And the doctor wants him to go home and take a pill and just die in his sleep to eliminate the agony. And I was telling this story to the server. She starts to kind of cry and says, my dad passed away recently. You see, when you step up, you reach people. When you speak, people listen. Don't let social media fool you. There's a Royal Rumble on social media. People who disrespect you, people who talk back to you, but in real life, they will not talk back. They will listen. In real life, they're so broken. They're so hurt. The simple act of loving kindness is like $1 billion to these people out here. So now my server's 24 years old. She has 5 siblings and a widow mother, right? The mother's a widow. And she's at this job that's not even paying her a lot, because let's face it, I'm in the middle of North Dakota. People don't really go out and party and drink and eat. It's old-fashioned. They eat at home. And it's Christmas. Nobody's going to the restaurants. People at home. So I give her a $100 tip. And she's like, no, man, that's too much. I can't accept it. That's too much. Listen, you are a daughter of a king. What I gave you is a crumb compared to what he has store for you. He has something in store for you. There is a crown of royalty for every human being. It's up to you to have the crown. The crown is like right here. Jesus is like, here's your crown. It's up to you to accept it and say, okay, God, you are my Father. You did die on the cross. You do have a plan for me. If I just follow your plan, if I just believe with all my heart and all my soul, I shall be saved. Not just salvation in heaven. That's the final reward. But there's blessings upon and throughout this journey. You heard me say this before, and I love to say it. We all have a point A and a point B. What happens in between, don't let it stop you. You have to say every morning, I'm in a fight. I'm going through hell. I want to take my life. But I will make it to the other side. Because once I make it to the other side, I could save a life. My testimony will save a life. I go through pain so my son and daughter can have joy. This is what Jesus did for us. He despised the shame of the cross, but he was filled with joy. After it was finished, the chastisement of our peace was upon him. He was filled with joy. It is finished. That's how you're going to be when you get to the other side. You're going through pain. Your people are beating you down. You can't pay your bills. You're struggling. But once you make it to the other side, you have joy. Hope deferred make the heart sick. But when the hope comes, you rejoice. How can you smile if you never had a frown? How can you laugh if you never had a sad thought and a sad emotion? You have to go through the mess to get to heaven. There is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and it's called the promises of God. I'm freezing. The promises of God. And it's for every human being. You don't need a college degree. You don't need a fancy background. You don't have to come from a whole complete family. Okay, you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You could be broken and God will still put a crown on your head. You could be sick and God will still put a crown on your head. You could be like me. I did a lot of mistakes, man. So much mistakes. And God still put a crown on my head. Facing so much hell. And God called me and said, John, I need you to go preach. I said, God, what am I going to say? First of all, who's going to listen to me? Out of everybody famous on Facebook, out of everybody big with big platforms, who's going to listen to a man like me? Don't worry about that, John. You just go do it. I'll take care of the rest. The same way that God put a crown on my head, He's going to put a crown on your head. And you say, man, God, where did that crown come from? And why would you give it to me? Just believe that He loves you that much. It's a crumb. The crown is a crumb. The blessings are crumbs. He has so much in store for you that everything He's giving you is nothing but a crumb. He's leading you to heaven. A blessing here keeps you going. A victory here motivates you and keeps you going. Laughter and joy and success and all the goodies that come from above, it keeps you going. So you can run the race with endurance. So when you get to the gates of when you get to the pearly gates of heaven, and God lets you in and says, "Good and faithful servant," then you get the whole buffet. You get the whole feast. It's like Christmas Eve, right? You're allowed to open up one gift. On Christmas Day, you get to open up all the gifts. In this life on earth, think of it as Christmas Eve. And God gives you a gift here and there. But when you get to heaven, you get to have all the gifts under the tree. You get to have it all. I promise you, it's worth the while. Yes, you want to be blessed on earth. Yes, you want to be happy. Yes, you want to have joy. I mean, yes. But as I always say, if life doesn't go the way you plan it to go, then don't do it for this life, but do it for your eternal life. Don't let this life rob you of your eternal life. Don't let the pain and the struggle and the betrayal and the heartbreak steal your inheritance of heaven. A lot of people will go to hell because they gave up on life. You can't give up on this life. You can't give up on Christ. You gotta run this race. And you have to keep on conquering. You know what I stand for? Victory over defeat. And Jesus provides the conquer. You gotta believe that in your soul. You have to close your eyes and see yourself in heaven. You have to close your eyes and see yourself happily married. You have to close your eyes and see yourself blessed and highly favored. You have to close your eyes and just believe it. You have to dream so big with your eyes closed that by the time you open your eyes, you are disgusted at what you see because your reality doesn't match up with your dreams. And let that be motivation enough for you to make your dreams your reality. And that's the true definition of daydreaming. When you open your eyes from a dream in your sleep, and you see that the dreams that damn, I'm cold. The dream that you're dreaming while you're asleep, when you see it as your reality, you don't have to dream anymore. You made it. You made it. God bless you guys. I probably got frostbite on my hands. That's all I want to say. Men of God, step up. Women of God, step up. There's somebody out here that needs you. Look, man, just look at the news. The devil is not even bothering adults. The devil don't even care about grown-ups. He's going after the children. Why? Because the devil has put pieces in play to remove the mother and the father, to remove elderly people, to remove good men and good women who will stand and fight for those who are young, for those who need a future. He removed you. And the devil's having a whole buffet on these young people, on these babies. It's just like a whole bunch of young people just going to the slaughterhouse. Be blessed, all right? Keep fighting. Never give up. I didn't give up. I never gave up. Don't you dare give up. Talking to a man from many battles, many broken bones, many scars, many suicidal thoughts. Man, I was suicidal and depressed for over 10 years. Don't you ever give up. Because the day you give up, a generation gives up. If you change one life, you change a generation. If you touch one life, you touch a generation. Let that be motivation enough. You don't gotta go out here and win millions and millions and billions and try to act like you're this big superstar for Jesus Christ. Reach one. Reach one. Start the domino effect on one. And the rest will follow. Y'all be blessed.